Now, a lot of focus from us and the political world on Saturday. Both sides doing a lot of polling, understandably right now, to get the mood in the seat of Dunkley.
And Anthony Albanese's Anthony everywhere, isn't he? He's doing a lot of breakfast television interviews this week, seeking to get across the line in Dunkley. But we have received leaked focus group images from Labor focus groups attempting to show voters in Dunkley negative messages to determine whether or not these are effective against the Prime Minister. An embarrassing leak here. It says, while Anthony Albanese has the wrong priorities, he's wasted a year either talking about this voice referendum or spending his time overseas. While Albanese is doing anything else, mortgage repayments are going up, rents are going up, your grocery bills are more expensive, petrol prices are through the roof, and he's done nothing about any of that. This by-election, send Airbus Albo a message. So what about that? The Labor campaign in their focus groups testing the negative messages, but effectively writing the message that Peter Dutton would like to send to the voters of Dunkley. An embarrassing leak, this one, that's come to us, Kieran.
Very interesting, isn't it, that the Labor Party's doing that, testing the negatives on their own leader.
That's right. Just to say, well, which ones should we counter? Which ones are going to work?
Which ones go flat?
Which ones endanger our vote?
Yeah.
And how do we respond in the messaging from the PM in, say, these breakfast interviews? That appears to be what this is aimed at.
Very interesting story, Andrew. Just further information I've received the last 24 hours from the Liberal side, reinforcing what you've said previously in the last week, and that is they're still on the booths. They're not picking up any real anger towards the government. They don't expect to get across the line. That's still the sense from the Libs.
And I've heard on the ground, that Labor people on the booths, the pre-polls, are saying honour Peter Murphy by voting Labor, which could be a pretty effective message. A much loved MP, Peter Murphy, in the community. So Labor not afraid to use her name in saying she would have wanted us to retain this seat.
In Aston, the Aston by-election, the Liberal sources that I've been talking to said that people came up to them at the booths and said, why are we back at the polls? We can't believe we just voted this bloke for 3 years. He's quit. There's none of that this time for understandable reasons, given the tragic death of the very early and sad, untimely death of Peter Murphy. So it's an entirely different mood, as you say, and we'll get the numbers on Saturday.
I still expect a 4% swing, and I would call that a draw. I think the polling shows that. I think Labor are worried they could lose the seat if there was a last-minute swing. I think it will be close because the Liberals are campaigning on this message, Kieran, which is send the government a message. It won't change government. That can be quite effective, particularly on that cost of living issue. Look, to be frank, Kieran, if they hadn't have made that move around the tax cuts, I reckon they'd be gone in Dunkley.